From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
I give you my word. I will always level with you. I will defend the Constitution. I'll defend our democracy. I'll defend America. And I'll give all of you, keep everything I do in your service.
Today, America witnesses the peaceful transfer of power as Joe Biden is sworn in as the 46th President of the United States. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade. An inauguration like no other in U.S. history. The ceremony impacted not only by COVID-19 precautions, but by heavy security that held the American public at a distance following the attack on the American Capitol 2 weeks ago today. It was also a ceremony like no other as the country swore in its first female vice president, Kamala Harris. We have team coverage tonight. We begin with MTN's Mike Dennison. He brings us reaction from Montana's congressional delegation, who were among the very few who witnessed today's historic ceremony firsthand.
Both senators spoke positively about Wednesday's ceremony and how it's a symbol of our democracy.
It's a great day where the country comes together, Republicans and Democrats together, sitting with this important transfer of power that we have done faithfully now for over 200 years.
But they also noted that a power-sharing agreement hasn't yet been worked out in the 50-50 Senate. Tester said it should come soon, and that an early indicator of cooperation will be whether Republicans try to hold up confirmation of key Biden cabinet appointees.
And hopefully, folks will treat him like he treats us. He said he was going to be transparent, honest, and he was going to tell the truth to us, and I think we need to do the same for him. And I think if that were to happen, that means we're going to be working together and getting some things done.
Tester said the first priority must be getting the pandemic behind us, including making more vaccines available and faster.
We need to get those vaccines on the ground, get them in people's arms, and it needs to be done quickly. Look, at the rate we're going, it'll be June or July of 2021 before Montana gets vaccinated. That's unacceptable.
Senator Dane said he's willing to find common ground with the Biden administration, but he's disappointed that one of the president's first actions is stopping the Keystone XL oil pipeline, which would cut across a corner of northeast Montana. He also said Biden's proposed COVID-19 relief bill at $1.9 trillion is not a fiscally prudent path.
I think it is has a huge price tag that we can't afford. We've already pushed out nearly $4 trillion in COVID relief over the course of the last year.
Tester said he wants to get Biden's COVID-19 package in committee and see if it can be improved. But he said now is not the time for throttling back on aid to the economy.
If you want to make sure the economy never comes back, starve it. Don't put any money in from the federal government. If you want to make sure that those small businesses, those bars, those restaurants, those hotels are out of business, then don't support it.
Above all, Tester said the 50-50 split in the Senate means the body must find ways to agree on steps to move the country forward and leave behind years of often bitter disagreement and very little real work done on the Senate floor or in committees.
And there are people on both sides of the aisle that want to work together and get things done. We just got to do it.
Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Thanks, Mike. Montana Congressman Matt Rosendale, who also attended the inauguration, said in a statement that he will, quote, hold President Biden and Vice President Harris in my thoughts and prayers as they begin to lead our nation. Well, for many Americans, it was a day of reflection as they sat glued to their devices watching the events unfold. Among them, Q2's Jay Cohen, who joins us tonight in studio. Jay, what did you think?
Well, Jeanelle, as you know, I had the opportunity to cover two presidential inaugurations for Q2 over the years. George W. Bush in 2001 and just 4 years ago when President Trump took office. Both had a Montana connection. Chief photographer Paul Humphrey and I booked our trip to cover the Bush inauguration because Montana Governor Mark Roscoe was considered a leading candidate to become Bush's Attorney General. Well, we all know that didn't happen, but we were able to cover the Montana congressional delegation. You may recall the images of that, the delegation riding in that Bush inaugural parade on horseback, Congressman Denny Rehberg, Senators Conrad Burns and Max Baucus. This is video from the Trump inauguration in 2017. Lots of security, but nothing like today. Paul and I were there really to cover the confirmation hearings for Montana Congressman Ryan Zinke, who you recall was tabbed as the Interior Secretary under President Trump. So for us, it was the thrill of a lifetime to witness those two events in person and to be able to bring those stories and those perspectives to our MTN viewers.
So Jay, what are your thoughts tonight as we wrap up the very first day of the Biden administration?
Well, I have to say it felt to me like a huge sigh of relief for the country as we put the past 4 years of chaos and tweets and all the drama on Capitol Hill behind us. Hopefully that drama and the temperature tones down a little bit. I'm also a bit sad tonight. We didn't get to have much of an inaugural parade, just a very short one with both the president and vice president walking a short distance to the White House. But normally, of course, thousands, millions of people on the streets of Washington. There are no inaugural balls tonight, which was always one of my favorite events. I have some great memories of the inaugural ball when Judy Martz, Governor Martz, was there and got to dance with our photographer, Paul Humphrey. But we do have sort of a national inaugural ball on television tonight. It's called The Celebration of America. It airs at 7:30 tonight here on CBS, all the major networks. Tom Hanks, as you've heard, is the host. There are musical performances of Bruce Springsteen, Bon Jovi, and who doesn't love the Foo Fighters, right? And the list goes on. It's just a time for our country to celebrate, and let's look forward to the 4 years of a new administration together.
All right, Q2's Jay Cohen, thank you so much for weighing in tonight. And remember, join MTN News tonight at 6:30 for our Facebook Live Political Roundtable. Jay Cohen and Chief Political Reporter Mike Dennison are joined by MTN analysts Ashley Strong and Eric Stern. They'll talk about the day's events in D.C., plus discuss the new Congress and our Montana delegation. So join the conversation. That's tonight at 6:30 on the KTVQ Facebook page. Well, President Biden tackling climate change as one of his first orders of business brings immediate pushback from Republican leaders in Montana and Wyoming. The new president taking a number of executive actions that have to do with energy and environment. Included on the list, pulling the permit for the Keystone XL pipeline, which would run through eastern Montana. He's also rejoining the Paris Climate Accord and rolling back many of the actions that President Trump took to lessen environmental regulations. Well, the chair for the Northern Plains Resource Council, which has fought against the Keystone XL, says the measures are a move in the right direction.
Well, we're really encouraged to see the Biden administration taking serious steps to address the climate crisis and these issues. And so I think we're excited to see new policies that will help us protect our air, land, and water. You know, these things that here in Montana we love, and those things that really define so much of who we are as Montanans.
And Montana's new governor, Greg Gianforte, ripped Biden, calling the decision on the XL a, quote, symbolic gesture that will have real and devastating consequences in Montana. And Senator Steve Daines says he will introduce a bill to try to keep the Keystone construction moving forward. Representative Matt Rosendale and Liz Cheney of Wyoming also oppose Biden's move. Well, in June, we reported that an abandoned rail line in West Yellowstone was given the green light to become a world-class hiking and biking trail. Well, earlier this week, the project moved one step closer from rail to trail. The Yellowstone Short Line Trail announced this week that a $750,000 grant has been secured from the Dr. Dumke Foundation to begin construction this spring. The 9-mile section of the Old Oregon Short Line Railroad will soon become a 10-foot wide compact gravel trail complete with bridges, benches, pavilions, and interpretive signage. Short Line Committee member Kelly Hart talked with Q2 today about all the excitement.
You know, the dream of having this pathway, we see it as just another reason for people to come to West Yellowstone. Yellowstone National Park has always and will always be, you know, a reason for most everybody to come and visit our town. But we're thinking how wonderful this pathway is going to be for people to come and to get outside and, you know, at that time and still social distance in a wonderful way. It's going to be such a wonderful addition to our little town.
Now, to date, more than $1.25 million has been raised. The committee is looking to raise another $3 million for long-term maintenance of the trail and to make it ADA compliant. To learn more, check out this story at ktvq.com. Up next on tonight's MTN 530 News here on Q2, the results are in for how Montana's flu season is looking. We'll hear from local health leaders. Plus, learning about life and adventure by opening a book. Meet two Billings teachers who have a passion for words.
A warm day. We started off with temperatures that would be an average high and ended up 51 degrees today, just 5 degrees shy of the record for the date, but there was some wind. We lose the wind and the warm. Details coming up.